Hi guys, Mr. Mackey here. Now yesterday we started Angles Week and I was showing you how to make estimates and predictions on how big each angles can be. Now this was the challenge I set you yesterday. I had a shape and I showed you 4 different angles and I want you to kind of predict what each angle is going to be. So let's go through it. Angle number 1, it's not acute, it's not right. It's not quite a straight line, it has to be obtuse. And because it's obtuse, it has to be somewhere between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Now because of that, we have to kind of make a sensible guess here. We can't say it's 180 because it doesn't look like a straight line. It's not 90 degrees because it doesn't look like a right angle. So I would say I went for the around 120 degree mark. Now, as I said yesterday, if you're within 10 degrees of that, so if you've got 130, 110, that's absolutely fine. Now, number 2, this angle is not a right angle, it's way too small, so it has to be acute. Now, for this, the acute angle is anywhere between 0 and 90. This isn't a right angle because it doesn't actually look any closer to a right angle. So I would say this is somewhere around the 55 degree mark. Now again, if you said this was 45 degrees or 65 degrees, anywhere between that's absolutely fine. Because the thing about estimates is you can't be pinpoint right. So if you're within 10 degrees of my answer, that's absolutely fine. Number 3. Now this is definitely not an acute angle. This is definitely not a right angle, not an obtuse, definitely not a straight line. So the only option is, because it's not quite a full circle, is this has to be a reflex angle. Question is, how big is this reflex angle going to be? Well, it doesn't quite reach that full circle, but it definitely looks a little bit over, so it's just gone over the straight line. I will say that this reflex angle is somewhere around the 250 degree mark. If you got anywhere between 240 and 260, that's absolutely fine. Now this final one, this is definitely not an acute angle, definitely not an obtuse, definitely not a right, definitely not a straight, and it's not that quite a full circle, so this has to be a reflex angle. Now this looks like it is nearly approaching a full circle. So my prediction for this one is 320 degrees. If you got anywhere between 310 to 330, I will give it to you. And that's how we make sensible predictions of angles. Now today we're actually going to be making angles. We're going to construct angles using the equipment I told you about yesterday. Now for this, we're going to not be using the whiteboard today because we're going to be going back downstairs to the creative space. I'll see you there. That's better. Glad I got a hole in the ceiling. Now, welcome back to the creative space. It's been a while since I've been here. Not really. Not even a week. So today we're going to be constructing angles. Now for this we're going to be needing 4 things. Firstly, something to draw on, a piece of paper, because I don't want to ruin this tablecloth. It cost me a £5 in Asda. Now the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a pencil. The reason why is the exact same reason for why we did it with Pythagoras and for any other time when we're making stuff like this, because you might make a mistake, and if you make a mistake with a pen you can't rub it out and it will look messy and you might have to buy a new tablecloth. So a pencil's one thing. The next thing you'll need is a ruler. Okay, the reason why we need a ruler is because we want to make our drawings nice and straight, to make it nice and organised, to make it look good. Okay, so you'll need a ruler. The final thing you'll need is this. You've seen this yesterday. This is a protractor. Now, as you can see, there is 180 degrees on this protractor, same as a straight line. The reason why we need a protractor is because this is how we measure and construct angles. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the main creative desk with our sheets of paper and not ruin the tablecloth, and let's create and construct some angles. Let's do this. So, here's the first one. Draw an angle or construct an angle worth 50 degrees. So here's how we're going to do it. Firstly, let's actually draw a line, a base of this angle, which is when our ruler comes in handy. Now we get our protractor. Now for this you can choose where to start it, from here or here. But the main things you have to do is the baseline of the protractor, not the base of the protractor, the baseline, which is here in this case, needs to line up with your actual line. Now for this one, I'm going to line up this side. So I'm going to line up so it matches, lines up okay. And now we have to measure it to 50 degrees. Now obviously there's a top layer of the protractor and there's a bottom layer of the protractor. When you go to the top layer, the 50 degrees is here, and that will mean the angle will look like that. Is that an acute angle? Because remember, an acute angle is 50 degrees. No, it isn't. So let's look again. Let's line it up nice and properly. Now let's look at the bottom half. Find 50, here we go. Let's mark that down. Now, when you line it up and you draw your line, will this be an acute angle? Yes, it will. So what I've done is I've lined it up. I figured out which part of the protractor I need to do the 50 degrees, which is the bottom half. So there we go. And then I join it up. Now, when you measure it, you will have a perfect 50-degree angle. And that is how you construct an angle worth 50 degrees. Now for this one, it's telling us to construct this angle. This angle isn't drawn to scale. It's showing us and it's 45 degrees. So for this, we're going to have to construct our own angle and we have to make it as accurate, unlike this one. So let's draw our baseline first. And now we get our protractor and we line it up, and now we have to create it. And the reason why I'm doing it this side is because that's the same side the corner, the angle is created. It didn't come from that side, it comes from this side. So we line it up, and now we find 45 degrees. Well, 45 degrees on the bottom part of this protractor is here. And is that the same? No. So we'll have to do it more proper. So line it up, and we find 45 on the top half. It's here. That looks more like it. So we draw our line so it meets that corner, and that is a 45-degree angle. We have constructed that angle. Now this one's going to be a bit more difficult. The reason why is because we've been told to construct an angle which is not only in the middle of a line, but we don't actually know how big the angle we're constructing is. And that's when our protractor is coming in. Now, what type of angle is this one? This is an obtuse angle, because it's bigger than a right angle, but not quite a straight line. So we get our protractor and now we measure it. When we measure it, we'll see the line cuts through here. It either cuts through 45 degrees or 135 degrees. 45 is from the top, 135 is at the bottom. Which one of these best matches an obtuse angle? 135 degrees. So we know we need to construct an angle that's 135 degrees. So let's do it. So we start off by drawing our baseline. Now usually when I did these, I started the protractor here or here. The reason why I'm now starting it in the middle is because our angle is coming from the middle of the line. Now we find it. Now 135 degrees came from the bottom part of the protractor. So it will come from the bottom part when we construct it as well. So here's 135, we draw a little, we mark it here. And now we started our line from here, and now we're going to join it together. Boom, 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 boom. And we have just constructed an angle that's 135 degrees. We measured it, we constructed it. Right, this one is a bit more challenging. Construct an angle worth 50 degrees and 150 degrees on the same line. So this is how we do it. First we draw our base. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw an angle that's 50 degrees on one side of the line and 150 degrees on the other. Because we're constructing the angle still, they're still on the same line, just they're not together, if that makes sense. Now let's choose to do the 50 degrees here. So, get our protractor, we line it up. Now 50 degrees is an acute angle, so if we go on the bottom half, 50 degrees ends up here. On the top half, 50 degrees will end up here. Which one does it best belong to? Well, when we join it here, that does not look like an acute angle, so it has to be this one. So we draw our line. Now, that is 50 degrees. We have done one half of it. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, the 150 degrees, we now have the other side, we get our protractor. Now, 150 degrees is definitely an obtuse angle. So, 150 on the bottom half is here, and on the top half, it's about here. Which one does it belong to? Well, on the bottom half, that definitely is not an obtuse angle. That is more acute than that one. This one looks more obtuse, so it's going to be the top half of the protractor. So let's line it up. And that is an angle that is 150 degrees. We have just constructed an angle where 50 degrees and 150 degrees, and they are both on the same line. Absolutely brilliant. Now, constructing angles isn't that difficult once you get the hang of a protractor. 180 degree protractor, you can basically create any angle that's acute, obtuse, right, and even a straight line. The problem is, what about reflex angles? Because reflex angles are bigger than 180 degrees, which means it's bigger than a regular 180 degree protractor. Common logic there. So here is your challenge for tonight. I want you to construct me an angle that is worth 225 degrees. That's your challenge. I want you to construct me an angle that is 225 degrees. I know it's been a quick video today, probably the quickest one of the channel. See, quick lessons, sometimes it does pay. But this is a really important topic nevertheless. You need to be able to understand how a protractor works and how to construct angles. Because if you don't understand angles, this week is not going to go well. So please take this seriously. Please construct a really good angle that's 225 degrees. And then tomorrow, first thing, I will construct one as well and see if we did a similar method. Now, obviously, if you've got a 360 degree protractor, this will be a bit easier for you. Try and do one with 180. Try and do one without that, okay? And see how you do. Now, also, thank you so much to everyone who shared this channel. Today, I was back at work for the first time because I work at a school. And so many of the kids there have told me they've shared this video with other people. And it's filled me with so much joy that they've been telling people about this channel, telling people about it, and it really has made me smile, because all I want to do is I want to be able to help, and knowing these videos and these channels are helping is amazing. So please carry on doing that. Please share this channel. Please, if there's any bits you're still not sure about, comment below, because all I want to do is help. And if you don't comment and you're still not getting it, there's nothing I can do. Please tell me. And if there's any other topics you want me to cover in the future, because this week is angles, next week is algebra. I'll be doing a whole week on algebra. Week after that, I haven't decided yet. Let's see. But for now, just focusing on that. But good luck constructing your 225 degree angle. Let's keep our children learning, and have a good evening. Take care.